Shalom, Jake Shalom, and people know about this digital ID now that the UK is planning. Brothers been doing lessons on it, and hey, it's spreading fast. This information is spreading fast. I mean, hey, even IUIC, some of their members are starting to rethink, whether or not it's sending all its forms and that madness. And listen to what they're saying, because over in the UK, they're getting mad about this. Okay, we're gonna let this play. We're gonna check out the comment section. And this is fair use, fair use. Okay, I'm not profiting this right here. It's for educational purposes only. Okay.
Compulsory in order to work. So Keir Starmer is expected to announce plans for a digital ID scheme which will be compulsory in order to work in the UK.
And they even called it a scheme because everyone knows the damn scheme. Okay.
The government says it will take aspects of similar initiatives in other countries, including Australia, where digital ID is used to access private services, Estonia, where...
And I didn't know you needed a digital ID to access private services in Australia. I knew you needed in Switzerland because I did something on it about 2 months ago. Okay? So yeah, let's keep going.
It's used to access children's records, and Denmark, where students can store information about their education. Also India, where it's claimed a similar system has saved billions of dollars in fraud.
I didn't know they had this in India neither. Oh yeah, because brothers did something on it because people couldn't get their food stamps in India. Okay? Yeah, but there's so much information coming out, and forgive me, I'm intersecting in and out of this, but let's go and let this play. Let me show you why I'm bringing this up.
Civil liberty groups and opposition parties have raised concerns about privacy and say the measure won't stop people coming into Britain illegally. Well, speaking on the Today programme earlier on Radio 4, the Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy clarified how the system would work.
From the end of this Parliament, every person in the UK will have a digital ID, and if you want to work in the UK, you'll be required to show proof of that through your digital ID. We think that's better for employers because at the moment it's far easier to fake papers. We think it's easier for them to be able to check that and know that what they're looking at is correct. And of course, there are huge fines. You can even face a jail sentence if you employ someone illegally here in the UK. So we think it offers protection for them, and it also enables us to make sure that anyone who comes to this country who is working is doing so legally.
I want to get clarity, if I can, about whether this is compulsory. Now, you've just said something important. Every person in the UK will have a digital ID. Are you saying, whether you like it or not, you will have an identity that the government has for you on a database, but you will have a choice as to whether you actually have that on your mobile phone?
Yes, I think that's broadly right. So every single person will have a digital ID, and they'll have to have a digital ID, but they won't be required to use it on a daily basis. This is not like an ID card where you would be asked to show it as you're moving around. Many of the listeners will have been to other countries where you're required to carry an ID card at all times. That's not what we're proposing. It's not a card, it's a digital ID.
But someone
and you
could
won't
turn
be
up at your
required to
factory
have it on your phone or carry it around.
Forgive me, but someone could turn up at a factory or an office and say, prove that you have a right to work here. Prove, in other words, that you have a digital ID. That would be effectively compulsory for all workers.
Well, at the moment, somebody could turn up at a factory or a workplace and ask for checks to make sure that everybody who was there had the right to work in the UK. You wouldn't be required to have that with you at the time, but you would be required to have a digital ID and be able to produce that.
That's why I'm puzzled, you see. There are lots of arguments for digital ID which are nothing to do with migration. For convenience, lots of countries like Estonia, India, all sorts of countries introduce them, save people time, they save people carrying papers around with them or digging around, but that's not the government's argument. The government's argument's migration. You can be asked to show your papers now in a factory or in a workplace, or to go and find them. So what on earth difference is this going to make?
Well, first of all, it's a much more rigid system. Or at the moment, for example, you show your you give your national insurance number to prove that you have the right to work in the UK. That's not linked to any kind of photo ID or anything else. So it's far easier to pass off somebody else's national insurance number as your own. We've seen a rise in the amount of identity theft and fraud, people losing documents only then to find that somebody else has taken over their identity. And I have many constituents who get in touch nowadays in a way that I didn't 14 years ago when I was first elected, saying that somebody has got insurance to drive using their identity. Our argument.
And they're making an argument that this is necessary, but this guy is saying how? Because they already have a national insurance program. Now, this is what people are saying on the comment board. They're saying so you could basically make the argument that the government has purposely allowed illegal immigration to run rampant in order for them to justify and implement digital ID system. Unbelievable. And see, people are figuring these devils out. Okay, another person put on the comment board, we will not comply. And someone else put on there, so it begins digital slavery. Remember, we tried to tell you for decades. You see? They say digital ID is a prerequisite for their real plans digital currency when you will be restricted from freedom and movement and spending. You see that? So yeah, let's go and get into this. All right, this is Revelation 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. This is Revelation 13, verse 16, the KJV. And he calls up all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads. Let me just go to the entire chapter. All right, let's find that right quick. All right, and it says, he calls up all, both great and small, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You see that? And what are they doing now? They're pushing this system where as though eventually they're going to have everyone take this, okay? Now, we know those of us who believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah, Most High willing, he keep us from this hour of temptation, right? So let's go and get into this. Barakatah Hawa, Barakatah Hawa Shah, Barakatah Hawa, Barakatah Hawa Shah. Barakatah Hawa, Barakatah Hawa Shah. Call Allah Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah B'Shem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. I believe those are the prophets. Shalom and salutations to those that teach the likewise doctrine. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquab. Shalom to the scattered Israelites across the four corners of the planet. May the Most High and the Son bless you and your household during these tumultuous times, because things are getting crazy. They're getting crazy. Now check this out. I'm going to show you why I'm bringing this up. You see how they was talking about how India, Switzerland, and Australia, they have these digital ID cards? Well, look at what else they're starting to do, because they don't do one thing at a time. Well, actually what it is, this the Most High are doing this, because things are speeding up. Look at what they're doing now that nobody really talked about. Let me show you. Because it just doesn't stop with these compulsory digital IDs. We know eventually it's going to go to the mark of the beast. But check this out. Now, I was listening to this young lady several weeks ago because of this passport situation. Because there've been reports coming out that they're doing a digital passport too. So see, they're going to link all this together. Now, this is fair use, not profiting. This right here is for educational purposes only. And she did say get this out to people. So listen to this. There are 29 countries that get ready to implement this. Now remember, India, Switzerland, all these countries, they're starting to implement these digital systems. Remember, he gave power to the image of the beast. You see? And this is part of their image, okay, and their ways. But we know eventually they're going to try to put all this in you through that Karax, right? It's called the Karax and the Karagma, okay? Now let's go and let this play. Listen to what she's saying.
Whoa, I'm coming to you today with an urgent passport alert. Your passport might be worthless in the way that you've always...
And I don't mean to keep jumping in. This is far deeper than this passport. We know that this is going into that MOTB. Okay? This is where all this is leading to. All roads lead to the MOTB. We're going to let this play.
...known it to be. Beginning next month, not only is the country of France requiring the EES. If you are new to this channel, I cover travel warnings. We were just talking about how the EES system is a type of entry-exit system that is a certain biometric lockdown, you may say, because they won't be using passports as much. They'll be scanning your eyes, scanning your fingerprints, but it's different than the regular biometrics you may go through. Oh no, this stays in the system for 3 years, and it's not required anymore to have a passport stamp. Let's get into this because this is breaking news. This is Beast System alert. This is lockdown alert. And France is not the only country implementing it next month.
And check this out. She said this is Beast System. See, these Jakes are waking up. They're waking up. You see, we in the last seconds. Let's go and let this play.
So 29 additional countries are also phasing out their traditional passport. Now, if you are an avid traveler like we are, then you know that typically you take your passport to the counter in whatever country you're going to. They stamp you for 30, 60, or 90 days. But those days are long over. And get this, it's not just about souvenirs or modern technology. This is about control, surveillance, and the future of your lack of freedom to move. Because listen, this needs to be a flash news headline that is across the entire world. But no one's really talking about it, which really does not make sense. Now, here's the context I want to explain to you. In the EU, the European Union, the Schengen zone, connected states are shifting to the entry-exit system. If you're an American, if you're an African, if you're Asian, if you're someone that's not from Europe, you may not be aware of the Schengen zone. This is compiled of about 29 plus countries that function as states in the US. So in the US, you can move state to state pretty easily, but those states are not sovereign countries. But in the EU, every country is sovereign, but you can still move state to state without necessarily having to show your passport because they have agreements. This is also where the idea where people say like one Africa, we don't want borders, things of that nature, okay? So within the European Union, you can pretty much move wherever you want if you already have one of their residence permits or their passports, which also has a double-edged side where it's like that means what one country institutes as far as how travel is concerned, all of the countries institute, which is something that we're seeing right now in real time. So the EES, Entry-Exit System. Say goodbye to paper stamps. They are replaced with biometric scans, fingerprints, and facial recognition that stays in their system for 3 years. And get this, while the passport stamp is disappearing, the journeys remain. But I also want to dig into the countries involved. So I'm going to name every single country that's also involved because after October, about mid-October, you are going to be in this system if you happen to fly to these countries, if you're a digital nomad in these countries, or even if you're just bypassing these countries to get somewhere in Asia or somewhere in Africa. This is why I say this is like biometric lockdown on steroids. Think 2019, 2020 world control. This is phase one of that again for an entire region of the earth. But I think that you should hit the like button, because when I read out these 29 countries, you are going to be amazed how many are included. And then you're going to wonder, okay, so if they're going to do this type of biometric lockdown where they have this one world system, it's really like a one Europe system right now, but eventually it will expand to other territories of the world, especially near the Middle East, definitely America, definitely Canada, definitely Australia. And so I think that you should hit that like button so we can share this message. I can't get this message out enough without your help.
So yeah, as you can see, you know, all these nations are going this way. So what I did was I pulled it up on the internet. It say you may be able to use digital IDs for domestic travel within the EU via the EU Digital Identity Wallet, and in some U.S. domestic airports with specific state-issued real IDs. And they're coming against this. People are already coming against this stateside and over there in Europe. Now, they're saying starting in late, I'm jumping around a little bit, in late 2026, okay, it's travelers to Germany and 29 other European countries will need to apply for the European Travel Information and Authorization System. This authorization will likely be submitted digitally before travel and is expected to launch in the last quarter of 2026. So by the end of 2026, they want this digital system everywhere, okay? And they're trying to push this stateside too. And we know it's going to happen, okay? We know that this is going to happen. And it says EU Digital Identity Wallet. As of 2026, EU member states are required to offer an EU Digital Identity Wallet to their citizens and residents. And it's going to be on mobile apps. You see? So this is where this is headed at. It's just like when they let all these people here stateside. Remember I did some more. They had the digital app, which they shut down for people to cross the border. Okay, and they shut it down. Now, what I'm thinking they're going to do, they're gonna put it back up, but they're gonna have these Northern Kingdom jakes take the mark. This is where all this is headed at, because it's not their idea. It's the Most High's, and it's written in the scriptures. You see? And she's going to name all the 29 countries. Okay? 2nd Esdras 15 verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Now, we know this deal with the sedition, the uproars of the people, civil strife, all hell breaking loose. But, hey, this is gradually going to lead to that. Okay, let's keep going.
To hit that like button, share this with 10 to 20 people so everyone knows what's happening. Without further ado,
and I'll put her video down in the comment section just in case any brothers want to do something more than that. I don't know if her work is copyrighted, but we know when it comes into the scriptures, we don't do that. Now, she did say it was the beast system, right? Now, her personal work, I don't know, but we know that we're not supposed to copyright the scriptures, right? Buy the truth and sell it not, right? Let's keep going.
Let's talk about what these countries are. So, Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czechia, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, the Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, and Norway. That is.
So yeah, see, she done ran it off some of these countries. You see? So yeah, let me show you something else. And I'll put her video down in the comment section. If I forget, just let me know. And see, these Britons, these people over in the UK, they ready to crash out on them. I'm going to show you. Okay, because he already getting rebuked. But look, this is Isaiah 17, verse 12. Woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations, that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters. The nation shall rush like the rushing of many waters, but Yahweh shall rebuke them, and they shall flee far off, and shall be chased as the chaff of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind. Because we know eventually Dr. E and these heathens, they're going to be destroyed. Okay? Remember, this is the Most High's judgment. This is the Most High's mark. Okay? He's going to pull the 1/3 out of this. Okay? So yeah, let's go and listen to these people rebuke him over in the UK. Look, they say he was savagely blasted over the digital ID rollout. Let's go and let this play.
Set to announce his plan for compulsory. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is set to announce his plan for compulsory digital IDs today, but it's already being slammed for the idea. The BBC says the Prime Minister believes it would help crack down on illegal working and modernise the state, according to senior figures in the government. But before the scheme has ever been officially introduced, opponents like Nigel Farage from Reform UK are in uproar.
So the Prime Minister says we must have digital ID. That's the way we'll stop illegal immigration. Well, think about it. Germany has ID cards, strict ID and checks. It's made no difference at all in Germany, and nor will it here. All that digital ID will be is a means of controlling the population, of telling us what we can and can't do, of fining the innocent. And didn't we see it all when we had the pandemic, when you had to have vaccine ID to travel, to do various things? Did that stop the COVID pandemic spreading? Did it? Hell, all it did was put cost and inconvenience on everybody else. I also worry about massive data banks being held by the government, being hacked by foreign governments, by private companies, by criminals. I do not see a single benefit to the government having digital ID other than them controlling what we do, what we spend, and where we go. And we in Reform are wholly opposed to it in every single way.
You see, so yeah, they're already starting to come against each other. And I had this strange post. It's not a strange post, it's just the times we living in. And look, people are calling this the awful government. Now check this post out, because this is crazy all in itself. That's why we tell you don't take the MOTB. Listen to this. China accused of stealing brain data of superstar athletes for military purposes. You see that? See, people that take this, they're going to be far worse off than those of us that don't take it. Not only because you're going to be in that digital slave matrix, but they're going to be stealing information out your head, stealing your money, just taking your money. And then the Most High are going to nuke you. You see that? They say the Chinese military is now thought to be a direct beneficiary of brain data from some of the world's top athletes. Yeah, they done stole these people brain data, and now they get ready to go with a public company. Look who information they stole. They stole Charles Leclerc, tennis star Jannik Sinner, Iga Swiatek, the American skier, Michaela Schifrin, and the U.S. and Italian Olympic teams. They got let me see who else. Manchester City players, these soccer players, Super Bowl champion Logan Ryan. And he used to be a spokesperson for it, see? So yeah, they're using it for military purposes. This is going to continue. This is going to keep going. So we're going to get some scriptures and leave it there, because this is what this is all about. Them getting people to take this MOTB. This is Job 20, verse 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And we know that's dealing with these workers, these laborers, because as you can see, they're going to get tired of this. Job 20, verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the armed weapon, and a bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and come out of the body, yea, the glittering sword come out of his gall, terrors are upon him. And that's them ICBMs when they coming up out of the ground, okay? But remember, that is saying that these other nations are getting nukes now. I believe Iran has nukes. I can't prove it, But me speaking as a man, I believe they have him. And remember, they just tested the ICBM. All darkness shall be hid in his place, and a fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. The heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. And you're starting to see little skirmishes break out. People protesting in the UK and in France. The government collapse. See, things are happening. All these nations, they're starting to sign up for these digital systems, and eventually they're going to try to put that Karagman people, that mark. So stay prayed up, Jake. I'll see you again real soon. Call Halal, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Shalom.